So here we are.
All right, here I am. I got him in a mount position, pretty standard. Yeah, at this point, I'm not trying to excessively use strength to pull his arm out because right now I'm just resting. You know what I mean? Like I've got him where I want him. And also me being the higher belt, I'm not trying to overly attack or finish him early or quick or whatever. I want both of us to learn. It's good for him to move and figure out what to do when someone's in a high mount like I am. And here I am fishing for this arm. Now I'm trying to contain his elbow. What he needs to do is drop his elbow to the ground to have some maneuverability, and I'm saying no to that. Then I'm just kind of keeping him a little nervous, and then I go to my back because now I've got a good bite. And that was my plan all along. I wasn't actually trying to finish him from the top. I was trying to get him in that triangle.
I see.
Kind of went my way.
I love how you think 3 or 4 steps ahead.
Yeah, you kind of, that's the jiu-jitsu game. You stop relying on attack 1. You start thinking about attack 2 and 3, and then there's a counter. So at this point, he decides to take a high position, and I get a little bit of a sweep on him. And now I have to get rid of the old belt. All right, so here we go. He wants to do the waiter sweep on me.
Or tripod sweep.
The tripod, right. So instead I drop my weight on him. Now I'm not trying to sub him here. I'm just trying to make him uncomfortable, right? Which is, I'm getting my reaction. That uncomfortability is most of my game. That's how I get him to do things. I just want him to react.
I see.
Right, so he's got his arms stretching out, right, and that's kind of bad news. If you're in that position on the bottom, you want to keep your arms contained. There we go, a little side control. He's doing really good though. He's being controlled, and you know, jiu-jitsu is about setting up a bunch of different kind of traps, emotional ones as well as physical ones, and it's the subtleties in it. He was smart. He kept his arms in. So now I'm attempting a gi choke, but not really.
I see.
See, so that was some more distraction.
I see. And you give him your gi now to hold on to, so you can't really get the arm bar.
I'm really thinking about that arm though. See, that's what I was going for. That gi thing was just a distraction for him.
I see.
All right, and now. All right, and if you notice, I slipped that leg in there, and we're back to me doing a triangle. Big fan of that.
That's right.
So I've got the length, and there we go.
Yeah, I guess for tall guys like you, triangles.
Yes, sir.
And he's really trapped now.
Yeah.
What could he do in that zone right now to kind of get out of it?
Well, he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. He would have had to get his elbow to the ground, but he would have to got out of the triangle as well. So there's not much. What he did was tap, and that's probably the best move.
I see. Since you had him in that position, you would have either been choked or you would have got his arm.
Right. And that's a lot of how my game is. I usually go for 2 or 3 if I can at one time.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so now it's the same guy, and now he has you on top.
Yeah, we started with me on side control. All right, so you notice I'm trying to isolate certain parts on his body, like his hip right now. All right, now he's trying to work on my left arm, which is a smart thing to do.
I see. Or you're right.
Well, he's on my left. You see how my right is on his hip, but he's working on my left.
No, I'm getting my left and right.
Right, it's all good. Yeah, so he wants to extend that arm. So when you're defending, you want to keep your arms tight. And what people on the offense want to do is they want to extend that arm. Extended arms usually mean taps are coming.
I see.
All right, so now I grab his gi so that they get a little bit of pressure off of me. Right? And now what he's got is a spinning arm bar. But he can't do it while my leg is in, my elbow is in that particular position. Right, he needs to step over my head. And by me containing his gi, I've removed his weight from on me completely.
I see.
As you see, I'm getting ready to prime him for a little bit of a sweep.
I see.
Using that gi and that elbow.
This is fascinating.
Now that knee that's high is also kind of playing a part in where I want him to move. He's going to move in a certain area, and you'll see a reversal coming up pretty soon.
I see.
And it's not because I haven't seen this footage before, but I just know how I play.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, he's kind of going for a wrestling thing, a wrestler choke, what's going on north-south, but it's not going to happen. And there's your reversal.
You get him.
And there we go.
I love how controlled that reversal was, too.
All right.
Wow.
And then go for that knee on belly. Now I'm going to do that spinning arm bar. Or actually, I think, yeah. Or I'm going to go for I'm doing him. I'm going for the old mount on the head.
Mount on the head. And he's doing a very good job angling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's being smart.
Yeah. Something I'm not always good. A lot of times I flat on my back, and I'm like, oops, shouldn't have done that.
Here we go. Okay, now I'm priming him for a bow and arrow. One of my favorite moves right there. And that's it.
Wow.
And he knew the bow and arrow was coming. He's like, yeah, okay.
I see.
Really good attitude.
Definitely.
He's
Cool
going to go far in the jiu-jitsu world. Just got to get your hours in on the mat. All right, so this guy's nice and aggressive, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get to practice my back game.
Mm-hmm.
So right now he knows what he's doing. He's going for my legs. He's trying to turn me around, and that's all the right thing to do.
I see.
He's smart now. I'm in a low position, and some people could see that as a point of weakness, but I'm pretty comfortable in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're just edging for a little bit of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking at his options, seeing what I'm giving him.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell his movements are a little different from the white belt's movements, right? Mm-hmm. He's a little more comfortable in these different positions. He's not moving quite so fast. Mm-hmm. He's hunting for things that he wants to hunt for.
Mm-hmm. This position you're in, I've just not seen it much, so.
Oh yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, it's a position you practice a lot?
Definitely, definitely.
Wow.
I'm very comfortable in weird side positions like this. All right, so now the position's gone from more in his favor to kind of 50-50. Could go either way. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do a little sweep there.
Yeah, because I noticed he was kind of off balance for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you took advantage of that.
We move so we don't bump into anybody. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
And then fix your gi.
Yeah, we don't need my pants falling down.
Well, now Paris is going to have a my lucky gi. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. All right, so we just abandoned that and reset, so I pull him. I definitely enjoy doing what I'm doing right now, which is a pulling guard, pulling to open guard. I do it a lot. Go from butterfly to pulling guard, things like that.
I see.
Now, what people think is just get past his legs and you can take side control, and they're exactly right. You know. So here I stood up and then sat down. I'm more than happy to stand up with people, but I just figured, you know, it's better just keep it more contained.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So at this point, I'm attacking that leg, going for a similar sweep that I did before into my knee pass. Now I have to push that arm over and also kind of get past his leg. Now I use that choke as a distraction. So now he's got me in half guard. And I've kind of got him in. Now, it looks like I'm going for a Kimura, but what I'm actually doing is just getting him to move his weight around a while, because he's going to give me other stuff in a second here. Right now, my foot is caught in between his legs, as he knows, right? But you got to set up these attacks even if they're not going to finish them. And I think that's kind of the difference between someone who's got more experience or not, is they just want to attack.
I see.
All right, so he went for a little roll around and didn't really go the way he'd hoped. Kind of put me in a better, more advanced position.
I see.
But what he needs to do here is he needs to get through my arm, get under my legs, and kind of sweep me from deep half guard. But I know this, and I'm not going to let it happen.
I see.
We're having a good back and forth exchange. He's doing a lot of things well. He's controlling his energy. He's not getting too frantic.
Yep.
Here we go, reset again. So we stand up, and then I sit down. And now I get to do a little kiss of the dragon.
You call it a kiss of the dragon?
Kiss of the dragon. That's just where you spin under their body. I didn't do it perfectly. I should have, when I did the kiss of the dragon, had more back control. And I could have taken his back. But I only had one arm kind of attached, and that allowed him to move, and we landed in the position where we're at.
I see.
But it was still fun to do.
Wow.
All right. So at this point, we're feeling each other out in this position. Was in a similar position with Dave.
I see. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Difference is, though, his movements are a lot more sporadic, so I'm going to be able to exploit them a little easier than I was. See, that was my little pass. Now I'm going to set him up for my bow and arrow, which you saw in the white belt footage. I like that technique a lot. And my standard move is to go from bow and arrow to armbar, and that's what I'm doing right here. The bow and arrow was just a fake out to loosen up his arm, and then we're going to do a little armbar action.
Wow.
And that's how it works. So yeah, so for all of you out there, very rarely am I going to get the tap on the first attack. I notice in tournaments, not with all, but with a lot of people, they want that first attack to work. You know what I mean? So they put 100% energy in that first attack. I put about 30% energy. If they don't have good defense, I'll get it, great. But they're going to defend, and then I'll have an answer for the defense.
Makes sense.
Here we are again. This is after that. This time he's going to stand. I'm going to sit. I'm in my butterfly. No belt for him. It's a nice little sweep in the back there. All right, so again, I'm going to pull him through to my open guard. And then I'm going to do a little sweep because his legs got under him. We're both fixing for positions. I've got his color, he's got mine. Here we are. Taking some breaths. Hair's looking nice and frizzy.
You got the metalhead hair.
That's it.
And he's got the kind of the Chinese mafia hair.
Right, the mob hair, yeah.
Two guys you don't ever want to mess with on the streets, basically. That's the look you're giving off.
All right, so here's our reset. And we're back to the original.
Open guard.
All right, now I went to spider. Real quick, little sweep action.
Dude, that was really effective spider guard use.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I am a fan of the spider guard and things like that.
And would you catch him in?
I just caught him in a. It was a standard spider sweep. I just grabbed his lower leg and pushed him over.
I see.
So what happened was I used the spider to kind of pull him in, and then his feet got close together, and then I dumped him over.
Makes sense.
So I do that open leg thing. He grabs my legs, and now, see, that's the same sweep that I got him in before.
Oh,
right?
I see.
So he's looking at my leg that's close to him, but not thinking about his own base leg. Right, and
so you're, in a way, almost baiting him a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I'm baiting him from the very beginning with my legs open in that turtle back position, you know what I mean? Because he knows he has to deal with my legs first. So he'll grab my legs, but he forgot about his own legs in the attempt to deal with mine.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
This is a good lesson.
Yeah, I tapped him. I think that was a paper cutter, which usually you shouldn't really tap people with, but he was in a position where he was pretty tired, so he just turned his chin, and there you go.
Makes sense. Guys, this is Coach Paris. I learned a lot because when I used to roll, it was the same. I tried to go for the legs, and somehow I get swept, and now I kind of knew. Oh, I guess they were just baiting me. It's like I never understood it until Coach Paris explained it.
Yeah, there's a lot of baiting that goes into any combat sport where somebody who's been doing it for a bit, like knows that, your first attack or your first position is not the final one. You know what I mean? You're 5-6 moves ahead. Whether that involves a couple failed attacks or a couple of this, but it's definitely a game of chess, not checkers. So you want to kind of just be calm, give a little, get a little. Sometimes you're in a weaker position. Other times you're in a stronger position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea is you feed them one thing, see how they react, and then you've got a couple of traps waiting for them. And all that non-verbal stuff, all that strategy is learned through hours on the mat mixed with learning technique. But like looking at a video and learning like 37 different ways to do an armbar doesn't necessarily help you as much as getting time on the mat. Now, I'm not a believer in just roll and don't worry about learning things. But I don't really think that having like 50 different ways of doing a certain move is going to necessarily help you on the mat unless you have the hours of dealing with pressure to go with it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was this one famous channel from back in the day. I'm not going to say which channel, but they were like, 20 ways to do this or 30 ways to choke. And, yeah. And then you saw him in competition and like he was...
Yeah, and that's the thing is everybody kind of has their specialties and what they like. For example, what I like about one of my coaches, my main coach, is that, I'll go to him and then I'll get a whole different skill set of moves to mess with. And then I'll go do those instead of the ones that I got comfortable. Because the thing is with jiu-jitsu is when you roll with people long enough, everybody learns your shenanigans. They all learn your strategy, your moves. So that's when it's time to go, learn totally different things from those positions or totally different positions. But I mean, you can only in my opinion, I can only think about maybe 5 or 6 at a time. You know what I mean? Then I have to like switch over mentally or, come at it from a different angle, Wow. So yeah, hopefully maybe one day we can get the whole foot game. We can narrate the foot game because that's similar, but it's different and it's pretty interesting and well in the no-gi.
Exactly.
But this was fun, so thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, Paris. Thank you, Won, Professor Won, Won BJJ, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a great school. I highly recommend if you're in the Koreatown area. Very nice and great professor and very well-trained and good attitude students. So I highly recommend a great environment.
Definitely. Cool. Talk to you guys soon. Fight commentary breakdowns out.